speaking of going along, I think this is hilarious. White liberals are driving all of this stuff around BLM and all this stuff. It's white liberals that have guilt, right? And they're progressives, they're liberals, they're generally well off, and they're driving this narrative of defund the police. They want to shut down police departments. Now, here's what's interesting. Most of these white liberals, these white progressives, they're pretty well off and they live in nice areas. They don't need much police protection, right? There aren't regular shootings. There aren't drug deals going on in the corners in their neighborhoods. There aren't gangs taking over their neighborhoods. And so they're really shocked right now to learn that Black and Latino voters in inner cities don't support their defund the police garbage. This is why Eric Adams, who was a police officer who talked about taking care of protecting Black and brown babies in inner city neighborhoods, this is why he's going to be New York's next mayor. It's no joke. He's going to win because he ran in a pro-police, more police, protect our neighborhoods enforcement program, right? He beat back all these white liberals because he understands reality. These people in the inner cities, you know what? Here's what I think about them. I respect them, and I think they're smart, and I think they're self-governing people, and I think they're rational. And when they got a lot of crime, you know what they want? More police. Unbelievable. Shocking to these white liberals, not to you and me, because we understand that people are rational. They're rational in the inner cities, just like they're rational everywhere else. Generally speaking, people are rational, except, of course, white progressive liberals. And also, to be fair, liberals of color, for lack of a better term, Black liberals, Latino, they're insane. They're nuts. No police. That is crazy. And by the way, you know, this is Eric Adams going to be the next mayor of New York, a former police officer, pro-police, more policing. But this is not just New York. This is going on all over the country, by the way. In Detroit, you'll love these numbers. There's just a poll that came out by an overwhelming margin, 9-1. That's overwhelming. It's outrageous. People say they want more cops on the street, not fewer cops. 9-1. Defund the police by 3-1 margin. 3-1. This is a huge, overwhelming supermajority of people say they don't want to defund the police. They hate the idea of defunding the police. This is in Detroit, by the way, perhaps America's most dangerous city. Killing records, murder records. It seems like every single weekend. Like, the left is insane. And I'm going to say it straight up. I've been saying this every week. I'm going to say it boldly. I'm going to say it bluntly because it's the truth. The Democratic Party is racist. If you're a Democrat, if you belong to the Democratic Party, you should be ashamed of yourself unless you're a racist. If you're a racist, that's the party for you. The Democratic Party is the party of racism. It is true historically. The Democratic Party was the party of slavery. They were the party of the Civil War to protect slavery, the institution of slavery. Post-Civil War, they were the party of Jim Crow laws. This is important for us to remember our history. World War II, they were the party of Japanese internment, putting people in prison based on their race. That is the Democratic Party. Woodrow Wilson, perhaps the quote-unquote greatest progressive president of all times, was a devout, outward, open racist. He showed Birth of a Nation as the first movie ever shown in the White House. It's a movie celebrating the Ku Klux Klan. He was a racist. So systemic racism, let's talk about systemic racism. That's the Democratic Party. It is systemically racist. It's always been racist. The racism has never stopped. Who do you think filibustered the 1964 Civil Rights Act? Democratic Party. Democrats filibustered it in the longest filibuster in American history. I believe that was 74 days. Democrats. Republicans pushed it forward. LBJ, they call Lyndon Baines Johnson the civil rights president. He was a freaking racist. This is not a secret. He was a racist. He said all kinds of horrible racist things. He used the N-word regularly. He hated people of color. He was a racist, right? He's a Democrat. The Democrats have always been racist. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was a eugenicist. She founded Planned Parenthood. A big part of the reason was to keep the Black race from propagating. Right? She didn't want them breeding, quote unquote. She was a eugenicist racist. She wanted to kill Black babies. This is systemic, institutionalized racism. Where is it? It's in the Democratic Party. It's always been in the Democratic Party. This has never gone away. It's never left the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is racist. They are the racist party in America. Today, what do they want to do? Martin Luther King, by the way, Jr., was a what? A Republican. That's right. And a pastor, the Reverend Martin Luther King, he was a Republican, and he said this, that he had a dream that his children would be judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. And today, here's what the left says, the progressives say, the Democrat Party say. The content of your character is determined by the color of your skin. The exact opposite of Martin Luther King. They are promoting party-sponsored racism. They are racist. If you're a member of the Democratic Party and you're not a racist, you have to leave. Your party openly professes racism. They support state-sponsored racism. They want the schools teaching children to be racist. That's what they want. They want children divided by race. They want to teach them by race. They want to separate them by race. They call it critical race theory. It's just racism. Martin Luther King would be horrified. Republicans, conservatives support the dream of Martin Luther King. Don't judge people by their race. Judge people by the content of their character. Not Democrats. Democrats are straight up racist. That's just where we're at today. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it is today. And I think what you have to say is, if you believe that you need to get rid of systemically racist institutions, the most systemically racist institution in the entire history of the United States of America is the Democrat Party. It's true. And today they openly accept anti-Semitism, another form of racism. Ilhan Omar, an anti-Semite, a bigot. Rashida Tlaib, an open anti-Semite, a bigot. Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez going along with the bigots. These are bigot racists inside the Democratic Party, and they're loved and supported, and they're actually driving the Democrat Party. They are racists. All right, so I'm going to say that over and over and over again. It's going to be controversial. People are going to get mad at me. People are going to quote me out of context. To be very clear, I just want to be very clear. If you're a Democrat, if you're a member of the Democrat Party, and you identify with the Democratic Party right now, you should be ashamed of yourself unless you're a racist.
There's actually a war going on in America, a war for the future of the country. What's this country going to look like? And we intend to win this war. The person who decides what we're fighting about is the person who wins the fight. There is a war going on which we must define correctly between people who believe that those in Washington, D.C. should decide for all of us, and people who believe we should decide. We, the people, decide. So this project was founded with the idea that we're going to use Article 5 the way the founders gave it to us to restrain federal tyranny. We've got 2.2 million supporters on board, but we're just getting started. And we're going to come up with ideas that I can't even possibly imagine right now. We're at war over a very simple question. A question you should ask yourself all the time when you hear government doing anything. And that question is, who decides? So God bless you all. We'll see you next week on The Battle Cry.
I'm here live in Philadelphia at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. When you hear the phrase lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, these are the folks we should think of, those who anonymously gave their lives. Well, today you have a chance to volunteer. You need to volunteer for conventionofstates.com, the movement that's going to save the country. These folks were willing to step up and give everything. We need you to give just a little bit. Go to conventionofstates.com and volunteer today.